Well, guys, we finally did it. We sold everything we own, bought this 5 acres of land with this beautiful pond on it, and we're going to start our homestead journey. And I'm going to bring you guys along. Now, this first video, I'm going to do a voiceover because when I filmed this, I wasn't planning on posting it on YouTube, but after my wife and I got to thinking about it, we were like, well, why not? Maybe somebody will like this. So I'm going to take you guys along in the journey. It's going to be a long one, but I hope you guys enjoy it. So this is part one, and what I'm showing you guys is this. What you're seeing now is how we bought the land, and as you can see, it's pretty overgrown. There's a lot of trees that need to be cut down. The grass is growing up tall. There's some pretty bad washouts. Over there on the other side of the pond, it was cleared out at one time, but you can see it's growing all back up. So we're going to start working on that, getting that all cleaned up, because essentially that's where we're going to put our house and everything over there. And this is the main reason why I bought the property. Look at that sunset. All right, this is day one of starting to clean the property up. As you can see, got out there, I cut a lot of trees down that are going to be, right in the area where we're planning on building our house. And down here in South Mississippi, we do have to worry about hurricanes, unfortunately. So I wanted to cut down any trees that were kind of in the proximity of where our house is going to be, because obviously if we have any bad storms, I don't want them to hit the house and have to deal with that in the future. Alrighty, and this is the next day. Still cutting down more trees. Had some really big pines that needed to be cut down, because these pines, and whenever you're having strong winds, they tend to snap in half, and we don't want that happening around our house. So I'm just kind of giving you guys an update on what I'd cut that so far that day. Right here, as you can see, some of these trees, some of these pines and things that I was cutting were pretty big trees. I mean, they were fairly large, old trees. And let me know in the comments, guys, what you think I should do with some of these trees. I'm keeping some of the trunks, and I may end up doing something with them. I don't know if I'm going to incorporate them as part of my build for my barn, or maybe doing like a decorative mantle or something. But I did end up keeping a lot of these trunks to try to do something with. So let me know in the comments what y'all think would be a good idea. I'm open for any suggestions, but as you can see there, those were some pretty big old trees. And I really hated to cut them because they were pretty nice trees. But like I said, I'd hate for them to hit the house or anything like that in the future and then have a big mess on my hands. Right here, I'm showing you guys where I planted some ryegrass on the levee around my pond. When I bought the property, I don't know if you saw it earlier in the video, the levee had some washout spots in there where, just rainwater had washed it out. You can see a little bit right there. And so I went out there and planted a bunch of ryegrass because it is wintertime right now. And it was trying to get a lot of that ryegrass growing, and it did end up growing. Right there, I'm just kind of showing that levee right there on the other side. And here just showing an update of how much of the trees that I cut down I've cleaned. And, we're making some progress, slowly but surely. As you can see, I got a lot of it picked up, but still got a lot to go. But, we're getting there. And here's a little shot of us using the tractor to pick up some of the small limbs and things like that on the ground, and just trying to smooth it off a little bit, trying to keep it dirt from washing away too bad, and also picking it up, or we can try to cut this later so it doesn't grow back up. All right, right here I'm showing you the road that we come in on to the property. There used to be a really bad washout right here. Like, it was really bad. It was probably 2 or 3 feet deep. And we brought in some dirt from over on the other side where we were cleaning up those trees. We brought in a bunch of dirt that was piled up over there and filled in these washouts. And right here, I'm just kind of showing you guys, we're still working on smoothing it out, but definitely looks a lot better than it did. There's still some sticks and things like that were in the dirt. We're going to get that all cleaned up once we get it decently smoothed off. But really right here, all we're trying to do is just make it where we can get in and out of here without having to worry about getting stuck or bottoming out on these washouts, because we were having issues getting in and out, and I finally reached a point where I was tired of it. I was like, we got to get this fixed. And as you can see here, I finally got all of those trees that we cut down cleaned up and got most of the pile burned up. Still a little bit left, but not too bad. And we've been working on, like I said, smoothing this out. We moved a bunch of dirt. I'm trying to get it as smooth as we can just to make it easier to cut the grass until we're ready to build. Just so that way we can just kind of keep it maintained so it doesn't get overgrown again. And we're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. But as you can see, we got it pretty smoothed off with that little tractor. It's doing its job. This is my first time doing anything like this, so overall, I think it's going pretty well. I mean, as you can see, we're getting everything cleaned and cleared up and kind of moved out of the way, so hopefully we can start building soon. So overall, I think it's going pretty well. Right here, you can see this dirt that we pushed up right here has a bunch of just concrete and limbs and trash and stuff in it, and may clean it one day and figure out something to do with it. But for now, we just kind of pushed it to the back and maybe repurpose it somewhere else when we have time, or later on down the road when we find a need for it. And as you can see, I've got some stumps I got to try to figure out what to do with, get rid of. I tried burning them out, and some of them burned pretty good. Some of them did not. And I think I'm going to end up having to rent me a backhoe or a little mini excavator or something and dig these up, because they ended up not burning as well as I thought they would. And still a pretty good bit of the stumps are still there, so not ideal. Well, guys, those storms I was telling you about, we ended up having one come through, knocked some limbs on the ground. We had a pine snap in half right there. And we had a couple, actually, pine trees that ended up snapping in half that you'll see later in this video that I had to clean up. There's one in the trees laying down. There's a big one right there that snapped, but it ended up getting caught on another tree, so I'll have to get my chainsaw and try to finish knocking that one out. And I ended up having a couple on the back of the property you'll see here in just a second that ended up snapping in half too. Where you can see there that the tops of the trees are laying on the ground. Yeah, you can see right there, there's the top of those pines laying on the ground right there. I cleaned some of it up by this time, but you're fixing to see a shot in the woods. You can kind of see right there where one's broke about halfway up. I think it was two of them that ended up breaking about halfway up. So, yeah, that's what we have to deal with. But that's all I got for this video, guys. I appreciate y'all watching, and stay tuned for part 2.